Hey guys, it's Brian Bear here. I just want to cover off a couple of things that I left out of my last video, which was Case 1 recovery, a deep dive. I hope you all enjoyed it. But a couple of things that I did kind of allude to that I wasn't sure about or couldn't find any information about on the old internet there. And as a result, obviously, of me requesting someone to put a comment in there in my video, I'm very grateful to my new buddy Slant, who joined my Discord and messaged me directly, and we had a long chat. He's someone with a lot of experience, in procedures, particularly in ADOPS procedures, from having spoken to a lot of ex pilots and existing pilots, and particularly in this case a Growler pilot. So just want to cover off a couple of things. Before we do, you may be asking, why am I wearing a beanie? Well, it's because I'm getting old, I'm thinning on top, and to be honest, I watched my last couple of videos back and I didn't really like the head shine. So yeah, beanie from here on out until I get better lighting, guys. Alright. So another quick thing just to kind of point out, someone actually recently said, and rightly so, I'm quite low. The volume of my voice is quite low in one or two of my videos, and that's strictly because I have a 1.5-year-old next door sleeping most of the time. So when I'm not being a dad and a husband, I'm trying to do this and trying to balance, recording, editing, and obviously getting my own DCS game time in as well, with two sleeping kids. Well, an 18-month-old in this room and then a 3-year-old in the other room is it's pretty tough. It's a balancing act, as I'm sure all you dads out there and mothers out there will appreciate. Right, so let's get to why I'm making this video. It's just a quick one. I just want to clarify a couple of things that were not covered off in my video, rather, and maybe one or two things that I said I was unsure of. So here it goes. So if we take a quick look at this here, so they commence into the initial from the holding pattern, which I didn't cover off because there's quite a few videos on this, and actually Jabbers does a good one, a really good tutorial on. He shows the pattern, the entry points, or the entry points 1 to 3, and a few other things. So do check it out. But you can also, if you Google ADOPS in Google, obviously, and go to the wiki page, you'll see a lot of the procedures there. So just have a quick look yourself if you're interested. But the first one, the commence here. So obviously, if you're in a holding pattern is inside of, is usually about 5 miles, and the reason for that is to keep visual contact of your buddies so you don't crash into one another. But when you spot an opening, you drop in from generally 2,000 feet or more is going to be your holding altitude, and your holding altitude is going to be slightly different depending on your squadron. Right, it's a squadron assignment, or squadron specific assignment, I should say. So you drop from 2,000 feet plus to 1,200 feet AGL inside of 5 nautical miles. How do you do that? As a Growler pilot said, just do that pilot thing, right? So inside of the 5 nautical mile zone, obviously to keep visual range of your buddies, basically because Case 1 is a visual procedure, right? It's like in the best conditions, that's what Case 1 is. And but essentially what this alludes to is you're flying a 5 nautical mile DME arc, right? So when you turn in, as I have here, your turn in should be around 40-degree bank, and it should shoot you in just behind, flying up the wake of the carrier 4 nautical miles or so. So this is applicable to any jet aircraft, and that's one thing I did say in my video I was unsure of. I said it was it's specific to the type of aircraft you're flying and weight and loadout, which there is some truth in that, but not when it's the aircraft type. So this is specific to jet aircraft, and turboprops and anything else has their own procedure, which does differ. Another what is wrong with me? Another thing I want to point out is the fact that first to the bow wins, and this was confirmed, as I said there, by a real Hornet pilot. Basically what this means is when you're flying up the ship's wake and you're looking down to the left hand side, and everyone does this and everyone's explained this in their tutorials, including myself, we look down to the left hand side, make sure the deck is clear, the box is clear. That's not really what they do in real life. they do look down, but they're actually checking for what they're checking for is if someone's boltering. They're not checking if the deck is clear, because 9 times out of 10, by the time you do your brake turn and you come back around, there could be two people there on the cats, and they could have already launched by the time you come back into your your turn. So yeah, that's not what they're checking for. What happens is, if someone's boltering as you're coming up to the carrier there and you're about to perform your brake, there's a rule of thumb. So first to the bow wins, right? If they reach the bow before you do, you wait until they've turned around, so back on the downwind, before you do your brake turn. Okay. If you reach the bow first, however, what they have to do is pass anyone in your flight. So if you've a 2-ship, 3-ship, or a 4-ship flight, they have to pass them before they can turn downwind. One other thing that I need to clarify is, and this goes for, I suppose I'll be helping out a lot of people here, regarding the hook there. Basically, this goes down, it can be within 10 miles, within 5 miles, it doesn't really matter. Apparently, there's no real procedure for this, and this is what I've been told. This is what I've been told has been confirmed with ex-pilots, real pilots, current pilots, and to be honest, we all know. Look, it's just a hook. It's just a rod, piece of metal. It's not going to break off, and it doesn't really affect anything. Aerodynamically wise, of great importance anyway. So you can put it down whenever you want, guys, right? A lot of people put it down with the gear and the flaps. A lot of people put it down flying up the wake. You pick, when it suits you to do so, but I believe it's within, as long as it's within 10 nautical miles or so, you can float the hook down, and you can check this out yourself. You'll see a lot of guys. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there of Hornet pilots flying around with the hook down, and they're definitely not within 5 miles of the ship. They're definitely not at 2,000 feet or even 800 feet for that matter. I think it's just one of those things that is left up to the pilot. The next thing I want to clarify is the distance of beam. So I say in my video it's anywhere between 1.2 nautical miles and 5 nautical miles, and I believe that was correct, but I stand corrected, and it's actually between 1.2 and 1.4 nautical miles. So the fact that I fly my approach, and I show you to fly the approach at 2 nautical miles, look, if you're an absolute beginner, please do that. It's greatly helped me, and this is just my opinion, but it did greatly help me when I was practicing. I was new to the carrier, particularly the supercarrier module and stuff, and flying the Hornet and the Tomcat. It gets you used to throttle control, trim control, flying slow, flying level, and getting you to do your turns without losing altitude, and dropping that nose. So you can do that. You don't have to do that in the pattern, around the carrier. You can do that anywhere around an airfield, or just in level flight. But look, practice if you do choose to do it at 2 nautical miles. Make sure once you get the hang of it to bring that distance in to at least 1.4 nautical miles. Not that any of us are going to be real fighter pilots in real life. I wish. I did apply to the Air Force when I was 17, but we won't go there. Basically, the whole idea is to keep spacing and timing correct. There's a 60-second spacing, and if I'm flying a 1.4 nautical mile circuit and you're flying a 2 nautical mile circuit, our timing is going to be a bit different, and our time in the groove in particular is going to be very different, right? Time in the groove is usually around 15 to 18 seconds, so that's going to drastically mess things up. So you'll see in my tutorial I turn in from on the 90, I think it's at and I'm so far away that I continue level. I actually straighten my wings, and I fly level for a period of time before turning into doing the 45, and that's obviously going to mess up the whole thing. So do it for practice, absolutely, but make sure once you get good, close that distance down, and all the way down to the 1.2 nautical miles if you can. But look, if as long as it's within 1.2 to 1.4 nautical miles, you're good to go, right? The very last thing I want to cover off is the CCA, or the carrier control area. So in my video, and I do state the fact that, look, I wasn't sure when you can do this, and I believe you can do it up to, I think it was 30 miles and 18,000 feet, whatever. But look, you actually do this. The carrier control area is 50 nautical miles. So, in order to avoid, a hostile attack, not that there would be, but in order to avoid any confusion, or and to let your carrier group know that you're coming, that you're inbound, you want to be doing this either at 50 nautical miles or very shortly after. And the reason for that is, when you do this, you're going to be given your BRC and Marshall stack. The Marshall stack only if it's not been pre-briefed. Obviously, this happens in real life, and I did point out in the video, and that's why every squadron has their own assigned altitude. I'm not going to do a random shout out in this video, but I will do a shout out to Lager YT. He codenamed Slant. Slant is the guy that actually got in touch with me directly for this, and gave me some great information on where I had some gaps, and many others do as well. But look, thank you very much, Slant. Guys, go check out his YouTube channel. He doesn't have much content, but he has a good few videos up there, and that they are very good. So it's LAGGERYT, and I'll put a thing on the screen right now. So look, guys, I hope you enjoyed the short video to clarify a couple of points. Hopefully this has helped not just a few people watching my videos, but many others out there, because there are a lot of grey areas. There isn't a lot of information around NATOPS, and for good reason, right? This is the military we're talking about. We're not talking about just some wishy-washy operation here. So look, if you like the video, you like the content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button right now. It would really help me out, help my channel out. Hit that link in the Discord, which is in the description below, and come and say hello. And look, I'll see you again in the next one. Cheers.